So this month, we're exploring the new attitudes that this church really is here to experience and to express, to teach, and to be. We are committed here at this center to transforming not only ourselves, but the world. We're committed to opening hearts to God's love and joy and peace. One of the lines in that song that Gail did not tweak was, "I've got love like I never knew." You know, we're talking about the love of the divine as it flows through us and as us. So we are here to open hearts to that divine love, and we are here to help us incubate and bring into manifestation our God-given dreams, those things that are planted in our hearts. That's why we're here. That's what we're here to do. Now, my question is, does anybody know the church's actual vision statement? And don't say opening hearts and incubating dreams. That's our tagline. It's a hint to our vision statement, but it's not the full statement. Does anybody know it? Hi, Bill. I'm glad you're here this morning. I didn't know you'd be here. Yay. Sorry, got a little distracted there for a second. Anybody know it? Come on. Leaders. Anybody. Somebody. Help me. Being God's light, that used to be it. That was our vision statement. And it's still part of mission, but vision is through our opened hearts and realized dreams, we co-create a world of individual and collective harmony, health, peace, and prosperity. That's the true vision statement of this church. I'm going to say it again. I would love it if you all had this committed to memory. So when somebody says, "What is that wacky church that you go to?" you could say, it's not wacky. It actually believes that through our opened hearts and realized dreams, we co-create a world of individual and collective harmony, health, peace, and prosperity. And just as a little heads up, those are in alphabetical order. I put them in alphabetical order so I could remember them better. Harmony, health, peace, prosperity, alphabetical order. That's why we're here. That could be a beautiful personal statement, couldn't it? As I open my heart and realize my dreams, I co-create a world of individual and collective harmony, health, peace, and prosperity. So I want us to make that into a statement. Yes? How about a personal statement? Yes? Yes. And you know the position that we like to get in. It's the power position. So I'll chunk it up because I don't expect you to have it memorized quite yet. But through my opened heart, and realized dreams, I co-create a world of individual and collective harmony, health, peace, and prosperity. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Okay, I'm done. Goodbye. No, I'm not done. So we do this by teaching beautiful science of mind principles and by applying some spiritual tools. And a couple of years ago, we identified 7 tools and we called them the Sacred 7 spiritual practices. And this month, we've explored 6 so far of those Sacred 7. Today, we're going to explore the last one. And then, because I am who I am, and I can't be anyone other than who I am, which is the truth about all of us, I never let well enough alone. I just can't let well enough alone. I look at that there's always room for expansion, quote-unquote improvement, deeper realization and understanding. So after we created the Sacred 7, I've come up with a couple of more that could be added in. And I love Phil in the sound booth. I said, what could we call them? You know, because I have 2 more. He said the Divine 9. I love that, right? So the Divine 9. So I'm going to go over the one Sacred 7 that we have not covered yet this month, and then add 2 more for us as we bring it all together, pull it all together today. So help me out. What are the Sacred 7, and which one have we not covered yet? But first, what are the Sacred 7? Just call out. Seva, which is sacred service. Seva, yeah. What else? Tithing, sacred giving. What's another one? Visualizing and visioning. Affirmations. Spiritual mind treatment, and meditation. There you go. There is your 7. Which one have we not done yet? Thank you. One person knew that. No, I heard it over here too, I think. Thank you. I'm glad you were paying attention to the last few weeks of what we have done already. Yeah, we haven't really talked about affirmations yet. And it's interesting, I was thinking, well, what do I say about affirmations? Because they're, kind of common and everybody knows about them now and does them, and you don't have to go to a religious science church to know the power of affirmations. When I started my spiritual journey, which started not as a spiritual journey, but as a therapeutic emotional healing journey, being divinely guided to a therapist who was extremely spiritual and metaphysical, the first thing she started teaching me was to use affirmations, to have positive statements about myself and about my life that I would start to instill in me. And I used to call her the queen of affirmations. So I learned affirmations before I learned anything about my spiritual life. So they're out there. But I wanted to just make sure we're all on the same page about them and talk a little bit about why they are so important and what they do for us. So, a couple of rules, if you will, for affirmations, just to make sure we're all on the same page. Rule number one, I don't like the word rule, but really ways to make them powerful. How's that? Ways to make our affirmations powerful. First of all, they are in the positive. They are in the affirmative, meaning we are speaking a statement of what we want, not in any way, shape, or form what we don't want. And that can be a little tricky sometimes because we'll throw words in. We think we're affirming positively, but then we'll throw words in that we don't want. Just as an example, I've heard this used before. Somebody who's got financial challenges and they have bills that they owe. Here's an affirmation I've heard them use. I am debt-free. Well, okay, great. That's better than thinking, the negative side of it. But what's the word that you focus on in that statement? Debt. Right. We don't want to focus on debt. So that is not in the most positive way. That is not focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. So that statement could be what? I am what? I am abundant. I am prosperous. I am financially free. See, feel that different energy in those? Right. So you want to make it what you want, not what you don't want. And we put that just under the umbrella of in the positive sense. Secondly, it is absolutely in the present tense. Already done, even though it isn't yet already done. We're saying it as if it is. We are basically convincing our subconscious that it is already done. So it's not, I will be, so I've heard this, I will be debt-free. Oh, dear me, no. I am financially free, right? So in the present tense. In the present tense. That's number 2. Number 3 is it is an I statement. It's all about you. In this instance, it gets to be all about you. Isn't that great? Sometimes things can be all about you. This is one of those. I am is the most powerful words you can use. I am is the name of the divine. When Moses was standing in front of that burning bush and the bush was talking to him and telling him to go, you're going to free the Israelites. He's like, what? I'm going to what? And who am I supposed to say sent me? And the burning bush said to him, tell them that the I am that I am sent you. The I am is the name of the divine. And everything we put after the words I am are incredibly powerful. So to start your affirmations with I am, really, really good way to do that. The fourth one is we want them short and sweet so that we can memorize them and have them lasered into our consciousness so they just pop into our head when we need them. If they're too long, we won't remember them. It's too laborious. We can't remember it. So you make them short. And then the fifth idea is more a practice than it is a how-to. It is we repeat them often. We repeat them often to regroove our brain with a new habitude. A habitude is a habit of attitude, right? That new attitude Gail sang about. A habitude is a new habit of attitude. And we get new habitudes when we affirm what we want and regroove those brains. So do we have any brain surgeons in the room? Any neuroscientists? No. Okay, good. Then I can describe this and you won't correct me if I don't get it quite right. When we think, we create a neural pathway in our brain and it literally becomes a groove. And the more we think the same thought, it goes in the same groove. So we really literally have grooves in our brains that our thoughts have created. When we repeat a thought again and again and again and again, like, I don't have enough money, I'm in debt, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, those are all, by the way, affirmations, just not affirmations that you want. We create a groove in our brain. Positive affirmations that meet the criteria that I just suggested will help re-groove your brain. It'll move over to and create a new groove, and that old groove of the old pattern will dissipate. So I have a doctor sitting in the house. I know, am I fairly right on that? I'm perfect. See, woohoo! Thank you. Thank you, Robert. So there's a sign on a highway, in a long stretch of highway in Alaska that says, pick your rut carefully. You're going to be in it for the next 40 miles. So pick our ruts carefully in our brain. We're going to be in it for the rest of our lives. So we repeat our affirmations regularly to help us re-groove our brain. So give me just an example. Somebody give me an example of an affirmation that you use.
I am whole.
I am whole. Beautiful. What's one?
I'll summarize it. I'm free, just beautiful spirit and beautiful me.
I'm free, just beautiful spirit, beautiful me. See, it's fun when you make them rhyme, too. That's great. Then we even remember them even better. What else?
Healthy, happy, holy.
I am healthy, happy, holy. Nice.
I forgive.
I forgive. Nice.
Lovable.
I am lovable. Good. I'm a healer. Nice. Deb, I saw your hand.
I am a child of the universe.
Woo! Yes. Now, the thing that's so cool about everything that you said were actually words of spiritual truth. They weren't just airy-fairy ideas, little thoughts. Oh, I want to put that out there. No. You were speaking words of spiritual truth. Eric Butterworth, in his great book, Spiritual Economics, said these words, he's talking about affirmative words, do not become true because you affirm them. This is a common confusion about this practice, that if you speak words of truth over and over, you impress them on your subconscious, and thus they become true for you. They do not become true because you affirm them. You affirm them because they are true. You feel that difference? They do not become true because you affirm them. You affirm them because they are true. You are synchronizing your consciousness with the reality of truth, creating a channel, a groove, through which the mystical flow may do its powerful work through you. And so we repeat them over and over and over again so that we clean out the old and we bring in the new. Emma Curtis Hopkins tells us why we need to do that. In her book, Scientific Mental Christian Practice, she says, suppose the rain and the dust have beaten against the plate glass window until it is very dirty. Do you think the mere cessation of the rain and dust will make the window panes clean? So it is with the mind that is covered with years of habitual thinking. It ceases from that thinking, but practical daily washing of the dust of years must be made. That's what our affirmations do. They are positive, they are present tense, they are I statements, they are short, and they are repeated often. So I want us to do something right now. A little bit wild. Ready for a little bit wild? Nothing compared to last Sunday, by the way. Last Sunday was like seriously wild. Thank you, by the way, Elvis. Elvis is sitting right there. Thank you, Elvis, for that amazing experience. Woo! What I want you to do is think right now about an affirmative statement. Maybe it's one you have already that you've set out, but maybe it's you don't have go-to statements in your mind yet. This is the moment I want you to create one. So is it about your health? It is about your finances? It is about relationships? Is it about your worthiness? I don't know. You tell me. Here's a good one. I am loved, lovable, and loving. Ooh, that's a good one if we don't think we're worth some, a lovely relationship. I am vibrant, radiant, dynamic health. That's one I have lasered in my mind. I have abundance because I am abundance. I like that one. So I want you to think, and I'm going to be quiet for 30 seconds, and just invite an affirmation to come into your mind. It's short. I am. It's positive, present tense. Yeah? You got it? All right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do a countdown, 3, 2, 1. When I get to 1, you all, at the same time, everybody, blast it out at me, okay? Just blast it out at me. 3, 2, 1. Again. Again. I love it. Now take your fingers and take your forefinger and your thumb and just put them together and squeeze them together. We're going to anchor this again. This is going to be a little physical experience of this affirmation. Anchor those fingers together nice and tight and say it one more time like you really mean it. And so it is. Nicely done. Nicely done. Make that your go-to statement. Make it something that your mind turns to if you want to go down an old groove. If you see yourself, catch yourself going down that old groove, back to that one. Back to that one. The more you do it, the more it will become, it is already truth, but the more it will become a reality in your life. So that's the 7th of our 7. If we took those 7, and when we take those 7 and live them habitually, live them regularly, oh my gosh, our hearts are very, very much opened to God's grace and goodness and love and joy and plenty, and we will move forward in manifesting our God-inspired dreams. Absolutely no doubt about it. And then, if you just want to really kick it up a notch, if you just really want to open the floodgates, if you want to hook yourself up with a hose to the ocean of God's good, not just take a bucket, no matter how big the bucket is, take the hose and just whoosh. I'm going to give you 2 more practices, 2 more spiritual practices, both of which you're probably going to go, I already know that. But it's always, are we practicing them is always the question. These are sacred spiritual practices, meaning they are engaged in. So, the first one, I will tell you what it is by reading a statement from Emmett Fox. Wonderful New Thought author Emmett Fox wrote many books, including one called Power Through Constructive Thinking. And in that book, he dissects the Lord's Prayer metaphysically. Beautiful book, beautiful work. So here is our 8th of our now divine 9. If your prayers are not being answered, search your consciousness and see if there is not someone whom you have yet to forgive. Do you think you can afford this? Of course, no one can afford such a thing, and so the way is clear. You must cut all such ties by a clear and spiritual act of forgiveness. You must loose him and let him go. By forgiveness, you set yourself free. Now, my guess is every single one of us in this room would go, yeah, I know, that's absolutely right. Got it. I agree with that. I agree. My head agrees with that. And then there are the words of C.S. Lewis, who said, everyone says that forgiveness is a lovely idea until he actually has something to forgive. Right? And then we say, oh, no, not that. Oh, no, I can never forgive that. That is unforgivable. My friends, when we say that, first of all, we're going down an old groove because we learned that. We didn't come into this world knowing that. We came in knowing only love. We learned how not to forgive. We learned that it's hard to forgive. We learned because we've practiced, we've been told, and then we've practiced that there are some things that are just unforgivable. But the truth is, we came into this life pure. And let me just give you an example of that. Think about 2 little children. I'm sure we have all had this experience, whether we have our own biological or adoptive children or not. 2 little ones, let's say 3, 4 years old, they're playing. Little friends, their moms are over here having coffee, the kids are here playing, and one of them takes the toy from the other one, and all of a sudden we've got a fight, and somebody hits somebody, and then somebody's crying, and then they're both crying, and they both run to mom, and their mothers are soothing them, and their mothers are hearing the respective stories of who took what from whom, and the mothers agree that their child was wronged. Their child was wronged. So the mothers start to talk. And the more they talk, the more animated they get. And the more right they get in whose child was right. And then they get mad at each other. And now the mothers are at it fighting. And they're going to leave that experience resentful and angry about the other mother and how wrong she was. But while their fight is just beginning to develop, what are the kids doing? They're like, oh, we're done with that. Let's just go back to play. That is our innate. That's our innate ability. That's what we came in with. We have learned not to forgive. So I really invite you to let go of the story that there is something that happened to you that's unforgivable. Because you will set yourself free when you release yourself from that belief. You will set yourself free. I want to give you this morning a practice from the Buddhist tradition. One thing I love about Science of Mind is that we are a blending of traditions and ideas from many walks in life, which is why we have all these gorgeous symbols up here to symbolize the threads that Ernest Holmes, our founder, pulled from to create Science of Mind. So there's a 3-part Buddhist meditation that is forgiveness of self, asking for forgiveness from another, and then giving forgiveness to another. It's a beautiful, beautiful process. It's not completely Science of Mind or New Thought language, and part of me wanted to tweak it a bit, to put it in our languaging, and then I thought, no, I want to keep the purity of the way it was written. So if your mind goes, well, that's not in the affirmative, go with it, okay? Just because we can open to more than one thing, right? This is how it was written in the Buddhist tradition. So if you want to, close your eyes. You don't have to, but I invite you to, if you want to close your eyes, to just really embrace this. You don't have to have anything in mind. You don't have to have a situation or a person or an experience in mind. If you have one, that's great too, but you don't have to. This is written in the first person, so make it your own words. So it is first for self, and it goes like this. For any way that I have caused harm to myself through judgment, action, self-blame, indifference, knowingly or unknowingly, in thought, word, or deed, may I forgive myself. May I allow myself to be a student of life and to make mistakes. Just as a river moves with ease around rocks and stones, may forgiveness naturally flow around my difficulties to rest my heart. May I forgive myself. And if I cannot do so in this moment, may I be able to forgive myself in the future. So we breathe in that. And then this is now inviting forgiveness from another. For any way that I have caused harm to you, knowingly or unknowingly, in thought, word, or deed, I ask for your forgiveness. May you accept me with my imperfections and mistakes. May you allow me to learn from my actions. May your forgiveness naturally flow around our difficulties to rest in our hearts. May you forgive me. And if you cannot do so in this moment, may you be able to forgive me in the future. And finally, to one we believe has hurt or harmed us. For any way that you have caused harm to me, knowingly or unknowingly, in thought, word, or deed, may I forgive you. May I allow you, too, to be a student of life and to make mistakes. May I recognize your humanity in the midst of my pain. May my forgiveness soften any difficulties between us. May I forgive you. And if I cannot do so in this moment, may I be able to forgive you in the future. These words of forgiveness, or whatever words of forgiveness, internally or externally, that you may use, certainly do not change your past, but they absolutely enlarge your future and bring about an opened heart and incubated dreams, no doubt about it. So take a nice deep breath. Come back with me. Got one more to add to make it the Divine 9. And I'm going to share someone's personal story, which will then introduce you to what this last one is. It's not, these are not my words, although they're written in the first person. They're not my words. They're someone else's. You're going to figure out whose they are pretty soon. Don't say anything, though, if you get it, if you'd figure it out. One day, many years ago, I was sitting in my bathroom with the door closed, booing and hooing on the phone so uncontrollably that I was incoherent. Anybody ever been there and done that? There we go. Stop it right now and say thank you, my friend Maya chided. But you don't understand, I sobbed. I do understand, my friend said. I want to hear you say it now. Say it out loud. Thank you, I tentatively repeated. Thank you. But what am I saying thank you for? You're saying thank you because your faith is so strong that you don't doubt that whatever the problem is, you'll get through it. You're saying thank you because you know that even in the eye of the storm, God presents a rainbow in the clouds. You're saying thank you because you know there's no problem created that compared to the creator of all that is. So say thank you. So I did, and I still do. I keep a gratitude journal and daily list at least 5 things I'm grateful for. My list includes small pleasures like the feel of Kentucky bluegrass under my feet. Feels like damp silk. Walks in the park with all 9 of my dogs and my Cocker Spaniel Sophie trying to keep up. Reading a good book and knowing another book waits. My thank you list also includes things too important to take for granted. An okay mammogram, friends who love me, 25 years in the same great job, staying centered, having financial security. I won't kid you, having money for all the things I want is a blessing. But as I look back over my journals, 99% of what brought me real joy had nothing to do with money. Parentheses. It did, however, have a lot to do with food. Who is it? Oprah, right. Who's Maya? Angelou. You got it right. So Oprah continues to write, it's not easy to be grateful all the time, but it's when you feel least thankful that you are the most in need of what gratitude can give you. When you learn to say thank you, you see the world anew. As Meister Eckhart so eloquently said, if the only prayer you ever say in your whole life is thank you, God, that would suffice. And one more quote from our dear founder, Ernest Holmes, who wrote, when we speak the words of thanksgiving to the God within, knowing before they ask, I will answer, there is something in this attitude of thanksgiving that carries us beyond the field of doubt into one of perfect faith, acceptance, receptivity, realization, appreciation, gratitude, and thanksgiving, the motive power which attracts and magnifies the hidden potentialities of life. Oh, that's a good one. So last week, we began our 40 days of gratitude leading up to Thanksgiving. 40 days, last Sunday was 40 days to Thanksgiving. 40 meaning is a number of transformations, symbolically means all the time it takes for transformation. Now here's the deal. We had a ton of people in services last Sunday, and we made a proper number of journals for the amount of people that we had. And we have a whole bunch of journals left. So my guess is in all the activity and the hubbub and the energy of all, people walked out forgetting their, yes, I'm seeing head shake, you didn't get your journal. It is never too late to start the 40 days. Don't you love that? And it'll just end a week after Thanksgiving. No big deal. Please, please be sure to pick up your gratitude journal. They're at a table right to the right of those double doors when you leave. Take one for a friend, take one for a family member who's not with you, whatever. Please take a gratitude journal because I want you to be engaged in this extremely powerful, powerful process of gratitude. Final thing we're going to do this morning, which will support you this morning, and I have an ulterior motive for it. The ulterior motive is you are going to help me create the theme and the content for our Thanksgiving Eve service. So you're going to help me. That's a great, powerful service, by the way. You want to come to that. You're going to help me create content for that. In the pew pocket in front of you, and if you're in the front row, reach behind you. There are little sheets of paper, little half sheets of paper. There's a lot in the pew pocket in front of you, but find the little half sheet of paper. And if your pew is empty, well, then reach behind. Yep. So there are 2 questions that I want us to live into for a few moments. And then you're going to turn this form in. When you go pick up your gratitude journal, there's a basket for you to turn this form in. So 2 things at that table. Pick up your journal, turn this form in. The question that it asks is, 2 questions. What other than gratitude, what other emotions live in you when you are in a state of gratitude? So I'm going to be quiet in a moment, and just Pam is going to play some gratitude music. And you are just going to write down, legibly please so I can read it, what emotions coexist in you when you are in a state of gratitude. And then the second question is, what emotions cannot exist in you when you're in a state of gratitude? What can't live in that same space as the space of gratitude? All right? When you're done with that, just close your eyes, and we are going to move into our closing prayer where we do pull it all together and incorporate all 9. I promise it won't be too long of a prayer. All 9. So, Pam, some gratitude music, please. Perfect song, by the way. If you're watching us online, I invite you to do this exercise as well and email your answers to me. And if you complete and you're just waiting, just play in your heart and in your mind with those emotions that live inside of gratitude. So in this beautiful moment, this moment where the presence of divine love and light and laughter and energy has made itself known, in this now moment where the presence of God lives, where the presence of God creates, where the presence of God is all that is created, in this now moment. In this now moment where love and harmony, peace, plenty, prosperity, and wholeness are the truth back of all things. The truth that is my truth. The truth that is the truth of each and every one of us. God in form. God in expression. I am. God in form. God in expression. We each are. And so in this one of 9 spiritual practices called a spiritual mind treatment, I speak my word. I speak my word for each of us, activating God's perfect law that is in this moment saying yes for our highest good. And I know that anything blocking the flow of goodness and life and energy and essence through us that has taken the form of unforgiveness, or any of those emotions that you wrote down that cannot live in gratitude, any of those things in this moment are hereby dissipated and dissolved by the words that I speak. They are dissolved here and now. If forgiveness is needed, it is done right now. And in that space, we are open to express and to give of our sacred gifts through this high and holy act of seva, giving of who we are, sharing our talents, our passion, our heart with the world, sharing of our treasure with the world through the sacred act of giving, tithing. We are so open to give because we know that we come from and are made out of that which is infinitely giving, and that we express our divine nature more fully and freely and completely when we become givers to life through seva and tithing. And I know too that the vision for our lives that we have identified during this month, in this moment we have a picture of it. We visualize it, we see it. And we say aloud, I am that. I am that. I am that. I am that. And we just contemplate for a few moments in the silence, in a meditative way, that we are that. And then move into deep and profound gratitude. So grateful for the manifestation of this prayer, for the life lived on purpose, for the hearts that are opened right now to God's love and light and glory and goodness and grace, and for the dreams, those that are just now incubating and those that are being made manifest, and then the new ones that incubate after that. I am so grateful that this is so. And know that the only thing I must do now is release and let go. Let Spirit take over. Work out the details. Sort out the specifics. I just have to show up. So we show up by letting go. Letting the law do its work. We call it good. Oh, so very, very good. And let us together say, and so it is. Amen.